second in our series on basic yoga poses that you'll find in your vinyasa that are part of the Sun Salutation. Today we're going to look at Lauren's upward facing dog, and we'll point out what needs to be aligned and engaged, and then the common misalignments that you also often see in class that really make you vulnerable for injury. So Lauren, come into your plank pose and lower into a chaturanga so that you're all set to come into your upward facing dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Good, sliding forward. So here Lauren has her neck in line with her spine. Her shoulders are on her back and her sternum is reaching straight forward towards the opposite end of the room. Her palms are flat. Belly is super engaged, thighs working really hard to keep off of the mat. The only points of contact with the mat in your upward facing dog are the base of the palms and the tops of the feet. And as I just said, the tops of her feet are pressing into the mat to give her leverage to draw that sternum forward a little bit more. All right, Lauren, drop down onto your knees for just a moment, and we'll go through a couple of the common misalignments in this pose. So many times a student won't be on the tops of their feet, but will have their toes tucked under in the way that they had been tucked under for the chaturanga. When you come into your upward facing dog, make sure you either roll over your toes and come to the tops of your feet or flip them one at a time. Another common misalignment in the pose is the legs are resting on the floor, the thighs aren't engaged to lift them fully off the mat, and the belly is sagging deeply. So if you engage the thighs to lift them up and get everything off the ground. Perfect. The next and most common and most vulnerable to injury misalignment is the shoulder blades not being on the back, but the student hanging down on that shoulder joint, sagging down deeply. So here Lauren will draw those shoulder blades in and back. Beautiful. And finally, many times in an effort to really draw the chest forward, rather than pressing forward with the sternum, the student will lift the head and tilt back and draw the neck straight up toward the chin, straight up towards the ceiling, thinking that it's opening the chest. It's really not about the neck or the head. Bring it back to center. It's really about stretching that sternum forward and opening up the heart. And those are the common misalignments and corrections for Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog.